travelers from the U.S. go abroad, like the European region, and come back home, they actually spread the disease under immunized or unimmunized folks in the United States. Also, CDC infectious disease specialist Dr. Angelo told KOAA. So CDC officials advise travelers to get vaccinated at least 4 weeks before heading on their journey, while children between 6 and 11 months should receive an additional dose to keep them safe. Confirmed measles cases in the U.S. are the highest level since 1992. So, folks, if you haven't been vaccinated, you're going to Europe, you've been warned. So there's that. So the last negative we're going to have on the show today, I promise, is American Airlines, that is, cancels hundreds of flights amid labor dispute with mechanics. So Americans going on having all kinds of troubles with mechanics. And it's creating a problem for summer travelers. The carrier had to cancel 722 flights in a 23-day stretch, impacting more than 175,000 customers. That's a big deal. Newark Liberty International, American Airlines, soon to offer it's just 194 flights nationwide on Monday due to severe weather, but it's also 60 flights were reported, another 105 delays on Tuesday, 36 flights scheduled on Wednesday. It's just horrible. So American is suing the Transit Workers Union. So this could go on for a while. And the court's decision will grant a temporary restraining order on the union so that American can get back up and running. But just be warned. Just be warned that you may have some delays at the airports on your vacation. And folks, because of that, you should be at the airport 3 hours early during this time of year if you're flying internationally anyway. 2 hours if you're flying domestic this time of year, because it's a bear going through security. But because of things like this and the weather's been kind of crazy, you better make sure that you get there ahead of time. And that's the end of all the negativity. Next week, we're not going to have any negative travel news. I promise we're going to have all good stuff. So I'm going to take another quick break. And when we get back, we've got Joaquin Arias, who is the sales director of El Palmar residential resort living condo right here in Panama. And then our friends at the Wireless Traveler. This is Karen Duncan, your bucket list buster. I'll be back in a minute. Hey, I don't know if you heard, but Mitchell and I just got back from one of our bucket list trips, and we made it to Alaska, and it was fantastic. It was so good that we're planning a group trip with you, some of our friends and listeners, on your bucket list buster. It's called The Best of Alaska, June 23rd through July 2nd, 2020, and we're headed from Seattle, Washington, to Sitka, Juneau, Skagway, Icy Strait Point, Ketchikan, Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, and back to Seattle. We would love to have you come see the beautiful sights that we saw. You will not believe how emotional I got when I saw the glaciers and when I saw the wildlife, the eagles flying over my head. It was breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking. So here's what we need you to do. Decide which room category you would like to join us on the Norwegian Sun for next year. We've got ocean view with balcony. We've got ocean views. And just so you can say you were on the trip, it's not a big deal if you don't have a room with a window, because guess what? We've got a whole ship with a deck that you can see all the sights from. The inside cabins are available as well. We've got payment plans. You only need $50 per person to reserve your space. Final payment's not due till February. We would love to have you. So if you're interested in finding out more about Alaska with us here at Your Bucket List Buster and Peaks Cruises and Tours. You can contact us at 512-529-3696. Go to our website, Peaks Cruises Tours, that's Peeks Cruises Tours, and click on the group travel button. You'll see a tab that says Alaska 2020 or the best of Alaska. There's a form you can fill out. You fill it out, you send it to us, make your deposit, and you're there. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to have some group activities. We're going to have all kinds of shows and amazing food. And plus, when you make your deposit, you qualify for the specials that we talked about with Norwegian Cruise Lines. Those free at sea promotions, free drink package, free specialty dining, free Wi-Fi, and more. So contact us at Peaks Cruises and Tours and let's go see Alaska.
Why stay local when you can go global?
It's gonna be free right about now.
With Norwegian Cruise Line, you can shift out of traffic and into vacation mode. Before you know it, you'll be free at sea. What is free at sea? It's your choice of up to 5 free offers, like free unlimited open bar, free shore excursions, and more. So sail to the Caribbean, Alaska, or Hawaii and vacay your way. Only on Norwegian.
To book your Norwegian cruise, contact Peaks Cruises and Tours at 512-529-3696 today. Hello, this is your Bucket List Buster, Karen Duncan, with our guest speaker today, Mr. Joaquin Arias, who is the sales manager over at the El Palmar Residence Condos, beautiful property here in Panama. Welcome, Joaquin. How are you today?
Hello, Karen. How are you? Thank you for having me. I'm
Absolutely.
good.
You know, we
tried
to do this a little while back and it didn't work out. Things happen. But I'm glad that you were able to come back on the show because you've got some great information concerning your new property that you're in the process of building right now.
And I think this time is going to be even better.
Yes, absolutely. And you're going to give us some information today about just buying properties in Panama and in foreign countries. So this should be a great show today. So let's talk a little bit about you. So where'd you grow up and how did you get to where you are today?
Well, Karen, I'm Panamanian. I was born in Panama. My parents, my father, he's Panamanian, my mother, Colombian. When I was about a year old, they decided to move to Florida, West Palm Beach. So I grew up in Florida. I went to elementary school. So that's where I got my English, right? So then when I was about 10 years old, I came back to Panama and I started learning more of Spanish. And I had both languages, so that worked in my favor because then I went to college, Florida State, and I got my master's degree in business. So now that I have my master's degree in business and my college degree, I came back to Panama to start working. And I got the opportunity to start working with a friend of mine whose father had bought a piece of land about maybe 30 years ago, 40 years ago, right in front of the beach in Playa Blanca. So that's when they decided to build what today is called the Nikki Beach Playa Blanca. They changed the name to Wyndham Playa Blanca. So that's when where I got my expertise in real estate, selling beachfront condos.
Nice. So did you ever think that you were going to be selling real estate? Was that something that you were looking at coming out of college?
Well, not exactly, because like I said, I had my degree in business, so I always thought that I was going to start my own business or work in a company related to business management or being a business manager, something along those lines. But when I came to Panama, she was about to open. She went with me in high school in Panama before I went to college in Florida. So we've been good friends ever since. And then when they decided they were ready to start the pre-sale of the condos because they had the project pre-approved, they had the brand already on board, they had the design where they were going to sell beachfront condos. And she called me and said, Joaquin, I need you because I know you're a trustworthy person, you have good English, and the target market right after the boom of the real estate in Panama started, was American, Canadian, English-speaking buyers.
Right.
And I said, well, let's give it a try. And it turned out that I was a good salesperson. And eventually I came to understand how to negotiate a purchase agreement in English. And when buyers came in to the sales office or over the phone even, they liked how I was explaining every single detail to them, and they started feeling comfortable with me.
Right.
And that's when I realized that I was able to fulfill their needs, and I started selling condos. And before I knew it, I was already not a sales agent, I was the sales manager. And then I just started to go up on the sales management ladder at the beachfront condos here in the Pacific Coast in Panama.
Right. That's really cool. So you just kind of fell into it, but it's been
I
working
think
for you.
it's
You've
life.
done,
I mean, it was meant for me, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah, yeah. That's what it sounds like, and it's really cool that you were able to segue your English background because you did spend some time in Florida, and you kind of understand an expat because of that. I think, don't you think that gives you some
Exactly, because
connection?
it's really a cultural thing. There's a
Right.
major cultural difference, and if an expat comes to Panama, which is a small country with their own culture and their own folklore, there are things that initially they don't understand, and some might feel that they don't belong or they don't fit in. But after you
Mm-hmm.
explain things and you hold them by the hand, and things in Panama are like this, don't get scared. It's really good people. People in Panama are very happy and very, welcoming. So once you understand their culture, you'll be part of Panama, and you don't want to ever go back again to US or wherever you're from. The
That's
Panama
true.
bug bits you.
Yeah, that I will agree with that tremendously.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that people are looking for in a property when they initially come to you?
Well, most people, when they come to Panama looking for a beach property, most of the time they come from states within the United States that are very cold, or they come from
Mm-hmm.
Canada or Europe, and they're looking to defrost because they're running away from from cold weathers. And
Yeah.
here in Panama, we have a very stable summer-like weather all year long. We don't have stations in Panama like summer, winter, fall, autumn. No, we just have the rainy season and the dry season.
Right.
So it's humid, and you get used to the humidity. But most of the time in the Pacific Coast, there's a place called the dry arc. The dry arc means that most of the time you'll have that dry season. It rains shortly
Right.
from time to time, but the weather keeps it very, very warm, humid, and it's like being in the summer season all year long. So once Americans or Canadians or anyone who's coming from a cold country or a cold state, they find the weather here very appealing, and they just want to and find out more about how to relocate and purchase a
Right.
property here in the Pacific Coast in Panama. So that's the
Right.
first thing that strikes them the most, that they are able to purchase a property 100 feet, 150 feet, 200 feet away from the ocean, from the beach, and in a summer-like weather all year long. That does it for them.
That does do it for them. It,
Yep.
it absolutely does. So let's talk about your project that you're working on right now. What's
Well,
going on
right
in,
now, exactly. Well, right now I'm the sales director. I run the sales office and the marketing office of El Palmar Residence. Palmar Residence is uh, beachfront condominium development. It's a gated community about 7 kilometers away from Coronado. But before I start talking about El Palmar, let me talk a little bit about Coronado.
okay.
Coronado is considered the beach hub of the Pacific Coast here in Panama. It was developed about 70 years ago. It was the first beach to be developed in the Pacific Coast or in the country, in Panama.
Hmm.
And the wealthy families came to purchase properties right in front of the ocean. But
It's
those
beautiful.
properties eventually they increased their prices so much that now they belong to very, very wealthy